The Idaho Department of Fish and Game is dedicated to protecting our wildlife heritage. Like all who hunt, fish, trap, and watch wildlife in Idaho, we at Fish and Game value this magnificent resource and the trust Idahoans place in us to manage it. It is part of our agency's culture going back generations, and it is a legacy we want to preserve for future generations and for all who value a wild Idaho. We are reminded of this responsibility each year as grandparents, mothers, and fathers, sons and daughters come through our check stations. They are proud of their children and delighted to introduce them to Idaho's outdoor heritage. Opening day of the 2015 deer season.
4 points and on
4 on the right,
left,
3 on the left.
And this 14-year-old first-time hunter is excited.
I never expected to get a bull this big.
I've had that.
I'm so excited.
And so too are his uncle and grandfather.
I think it's awesome. I'm very proud of him. Very awesome.
Shot. I couldn't believe
And he's a good shot.
Be it hunting or fishing,
Get some fish. Try to.
the passion people have for these activities fuels lifestyles and livelihoods throughout Idaho, especially in rural towns like Riggins.
I'm going to say probably about 75% of my income comes from the hunting and the fishing in Riggins, yeah.
A rippling effect that touches nearly every business in town.
I've only been here a couple of months, and it is crazy busy with hunters and fishers and everybody like that.
It's life for the motel, life for the whole town.
300 miles east of Riggins in the mountain town of Mackay,
The hunting, the fishing, that is a big part of the shoulders.
Don Picotti owns a motel and RV park, and the business season for him is a short one.
The problem being is we get about 12 to 14 weeks to get roughly 70% of our income. And we really do count on the shoulder seasons, you know, the hunting, the fishing, the sportsmen being here to fill in.
110 miles north of Mackay in Salmon, Idaho,
Most of the recreation is hunting and fishing, with the steelhead seasons in the spring and in the fall, and of course the hunting season, which Salmon's got a pretty good reputation for hunting.
like in other towns, those hunters and anglers buy groceries, gas, and supplies in Salmon. They stay in hotels and eat in restaurants, dollars that percolate throughout town.
So that helps put money back into the community so that it comes back into places like here and others. So basically the money's just kind of rotating around when it comes in, but it does help supplement the incomes here in town.
People don't understand the great contribution that hunting and fishing has to the economy.
Mark Damian Duda makes his living studying contributions hunters and anglers make to the economy. He's also an avid hunter who this year harvested a caribou in Canada. The average hunter, he says, spends about $1,900 a year on everything from gas, food, licenses and tags, equipment, and lodging. The average angler spends about $900. In Idaho, those dollars add up.
In terms of retail sales, over $1 billion are spent each year by hunters and anglers in Idaho. $1 billion generates about $1.4 billion in economic output each year. $1.4 billion just in your state alone. That's hunting and fishing.
Duda believes the reason that economic contribution isn't better understood is because it's hard to visualize compared to other recreation pastimes, like attending football games.
A lot of what we do is done out of the public eye. And so when we hear about how much football generates or how much baseball generates in economic impacts, we can see that. It's easy because they're concentrated in stadiums. But take those stadiums and fill them up and fill them up and fill them up again and again. And all of a sudden you start realizing how many hunters and anglers are out there spending a heck of a lot more money hunting and fishing than we ever would at a football game.
Let's take that analogy a step further. The University of Idaho and Idaho State University's football stadiums hold 28,000 people combined. Last year, Idaho Fish and Game sold hunting and fishing licenses and tags to more than 540,000 people, 350,000 residents and 141,000 non-residents. Enough people to fill both stadiums nearly 20 times.
What are we getting, a license?
No, I have my license. I just need my deer tag.
At Howard's Tackle Shop near downtown Nampa, owner Howard Davis is proud of all his shop has to offer.
We carry a variety of rods. We usually have about 700 rods in stock. And our famous little crickets that love catfish.
Davis also takes pride in helping to grow our state's economy, one customer at a time.
I enjoy working with people. I enjoy seeing them going out and enjoying what they have in Idaho. This is one step to get them there.
And once there, they are often hooked for life, supporting and boosting economies big and small throughout Idaho.
If we didn't have the steelhead, the salmon, the beautiful scenery, the hunting, Oregon would just dry up and blow away. That's all there is to it.
Paying it forward. That is what anglers and hunters do each time they buy a hunting or fishing license or tag. Not only are we paying for professional management of the wildlife, but we are supporting and boosting local economies throughout our state to the tune of $1.5 billion each year. It is an investment both in our economy and in our wildlife management, providing the foundation for a way of life ingrained in so many Idahoans. Perhaps most importantly, we are doing our part in continuing to build on a wildlife legacy for our children and our grandchildren.